Okay, so we're going to go over circumference of a circle here. Okay, now, first thing we have to do is make some definitions about what circles are. Okay, so first off, circle, this is what's considered the circumference, going all the way around the circle. Okay, just once, not the same amount of times I did. So essentially they start here, and you go all the way around, and that distance is called your circumference. Okay? Now there's ways to calculate your circumference, because we can't really calculate it by just guessing how long we're going, right? Because it's circular, there's no straight lines involved here. So what we'll do is we'll get a same circle, draw another one, same shape. Okay, so we have our circle again, right? Same one. Another thing we need to learn about is called the diameter of the circle. Okay, diameter of the circle is going through the middle. First of all, you have to go through the middle of the circle, and it's going from one end of the circle to the other. So let's say we're going across like this. That distance, that straight line distance, is called the diameter. Okay, so we'll highlight that in green. This is our diameter. So we have two things. We have circumference, which we highlighted in yellow, right? So that was in yellow. And we have diameter, which is highlighted in green. Okay? Now, what's neat about this is there's a relationship between the diameter of a circle and its circumference. Okay? So looking at this, we can actually figure out how far the diameter is. It's here, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to say there's centimeters. Okay? So this diameter in this one here, we're going to say is 4 centimeters in length. Okay? Now, I can actually figure out the circumference, so the distance around the circle, using the diameter. I have to multiply it by something. And what we have to multiply it by is a symbol. Okay? The symbol is called pi. Okay? Now this symbol is equal to a really long number, and your calculator knows it. I'm just going to bring it up again. Tactically equal to 3.141592654, and it keeps going and going and going. Okay, a very large number. But your calculator represents this symbol. It'll have it on your calculator, so it'll put it in for you. So what we're going to do, right, is we're going to calculate the circumference of this. We're going to find the circumference. So I'm going to call it C for circumference. So the circumference, and I'll highlight it in yellow, just so we know we're talking about circumference. Circumference is equal to pi, that's our symbol, times, now have you seen things written like this? That means multiplied by. D stands for our diameter. Okay? Let's go back to page 1. So, our diameter in this question was how far? Do you remember? 4, that's right. So C is equal to pi times 4. So we got to figure out how to put it in our calculator. So everyone's calculator is going to be a little different. We're going to try it now with ours. I'm going to bring this one up. You can use this here. Okay. Now when I look at my calculator, I actually have the symbol right here. Can you see it, bottom left corner? So if I push it on my calculator, I get, boom, it gives me the number. You just have to hit the second function to do it. So why don't you try that right now? Alright, so we got that so far. Now we're going to hit multiplied by. So times the number 4 equals, what'd you get?
12.56.
Okay, let's just go to 2 decimal places. 12.56. So what that's telling us is our circumference is equal to 12.56. Okay? Now, what they mean by that is if I'm to take this, okay, and see where I have the red part, if I was to cut the circle right there and put it into a straight line, it would go 12. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 5. So I'm going to draw a line from there representing what that circle would be. It would be roughly that distance if we were to cut it and lay it out straight. That's how far the length of this circle is, okay? Or sorry, not the length, but the circumference of that circle. So when we cut that circle, that's how long it is from end to end. 12 point, right? So what I'll say, circumference was 12.56. That's what we rounded to. This is what it looked like, 12.56. Much larger than our diameter, right? Our diameter was only 4. Let's take a look at that all together. Okay. Okay, this time we're going to work with a smaller circle. And looking at it, it's kind of hard to tell, but let's say I realize, here we go. Again, from the center of the circle. Now, I'm going to show you something else. This is a different type. We're going to call this halfway, okay? See how it's only half of the entire distance across? That also has its own name, okay? You know what? I'm going to do it in a different color just so we know, to make it different from the other ones. That distance there is called your radius, okay? Which is important later on. So the radius is half of the diameter, okay? So that's our R. We're going to call it radius, okay? Now if I need to figure out the circumference, which is the distance all the way around, right? Going all the way around this, we need to figure out that distance. What was our formula? Do you remember? Circumference was equal to?
Pi.
Yeah, pi times what?
The diameter.
Diameter. But do we have the diameter? No, we have the radius. Now I'm going to tell you the radius of this is 1.5 centimeters, okay? So the radius is 1.5. Now I'm going to show you another formula. It turns out that 2 times your radius is actually equal to what? The diameter. Does that make sense? If we're starting at the middle and only going halfway, and diameter is the entire way across, does it make sense we multiply that by 2 to find diameter?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll highlight the same stuff we had before. Here's our circumference. We're going to try to find the circumference. Now, we'll have to find the diameter also. So, and remember, diameter can go any which way. So if our radius is 1.5, I put 2, okay, and this is 2 times. 2 times what? That's right. Radius was 1.5 is equal to, let's figure this out. It's equal to our diameter. So our diameter is going to be equal to what number? 3 centimeters. So the diameter of this, and I'm going to draw a quick little line. And now this could also be the diameter from top to bottom, as long as we're going through the middle, okay? I just wanted to put it a little different from the radius so you can see. That's our diameter, okay? So here we go. This is the diameter of our circle. And finally, I'm going to draw all the way around. What am I representing with the yellow? Circumference. So we're going to try to find the circumference. So now that we know the diameter is 3, we'll put it into our circumference formula, which is right here, okay? So our circumference formula, C is equal to pi times what? Which is 3. So what's our circumference going to equal in this one? We'll have to put it in our calculator and find out, right? So like we're doing before, we got to get our pi. So we bring up pi. Type your pi there. Pi times, in this case it was just the number 3. What do you get?
9.42.
Good. So what that means is the circumference of this is 9.42 centimeters. Okay, so let's say these are all centimeters here. Let's compare some of these shapes we got. The radius was how far?
1.5.
So there's our radius, okay? I'm going to call that R. That was our radius. Our diameter was how far?
3.
2. It's 2. 3. So our diameter was 3 centimeters in distance. So we're just going to compare these, okay? And finally, how far was the circumference of the circle? 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 and a bit. How about 9 and a bit? 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we're estimating that's 4.2. And this was the distance of our circumference if we were to cut it and lay it out flat. That was our circumference, okay? So do you see the similarities between these? Yeah. Okay, so those numbers all relate to each other when we're finding circumference, okay?